I'm Mateja Gravner, daughter of Josko. He's actually the third generation, so I'm the fourth. We are part of the Gravner family. My father, Josko, is mainly known because he was one of the first restarting with skin fermentation and even more the amphora, or better qvevri, the Georgian ones in winemaking. We are on the border between Italy and Slovenia, mainly focused on Ribolla, so a local variety from Friuli, and for long aged and long wines. They are released after a pretty long time in the cellar. Josko started making wines pretty young. Being part of the family, he started making wines in, at the time, very traditional way. Pretty young white wines. Grapes were harvested ripe, pressed, fermentation in at the beginning in stainless steel tanks. He moved quite quickly to small oak cask, but his concern was, his question was, how was it possible that the wine he was producing, despite it was a pretty well known and awarded wine, why was the Ribolla wine not tasting like the Ribolla grape? And he couldn't understand this distance. He couldn't understand why he couldn't find the connection between the original fruit and the wine. And at a certain point, he started considering that the best part of the Ribolla grape is the skin, is the tasty, it's very crunchy. It's the most funny part of the grape, and he started thinking if and in which way could it be possible to preserve the skin, and even better to preserve the taste of this skin. And in '96, due even to an incredible hailstorm, we lose the 95% of our grapes. He made the test about the Ribolla fermentation, which was fermented on the skins and the other part without skins. And the one fermented on the skins finally gave him the taste of the Ribolla grape. And he changed everything. He sold out all the barrels, he sold out all the stainless steel tanks, and 97 was then fermented, completely fermented on the skins. At the time, this was something pretty new. And but he was so in love, and he believed that this approach was much more respectful toward the grape, that he moved with no regrets. In '97, he even made the first taste about the Georgian qvevri, because he read about it. This was the really ancient history, but no one knew if it was still possible to produce in this way. And even in Georgia, there were almost no producers or amphora producers. And this was even better in his mind, and in his experience was even better than fermentation on the skins in wooden barrels, because the amphora is buried underground, and the ground is controlling the temperature during fermentation, which means that the fermentation can be much longer. Nowadays, we are between 3 and 4 months of skin fermentation, compared to the previous cask skin fermentation, which was between 12 and 14 days. It's much longer. But for this reason, we say that it's not our decision, not our as humans, but it's a decision of every single vintage, because in a different vintage, the reaction of grapes, how the grapes, the evolution of grapes can be completely different. And it wasn't very easy process, even because we needed to learn about it, and we have seen that amphora fermented wines are slower. They need a longer time to ripe, and nowadays we release wines, they have at least 7 years, because after the amphora qvevri period, which is usually about 1 year, the wine is preserved in a huge Slavonian cask for at least 6 years. So not exactly the fastest wines, but we believe that wine needs to stay and to be calm before being ready for enjoying. When Josko started being in doubt about the wine, he understood that the first thing he should reconsider was the vineyards, because what we made, not only with Gravner, but what was made in the wine industry was that we reproduce a monoculture. So vineyards become only vineyards, only vines, which is, the name says, it's true. But in the past, people used to have a lot of different culture, not only cover crop, a lot of different trees. It's not about being nostalgic. It's not that in the past everything was good and nowadays everything is a disaster. But we believe that progress is when we increase the value, and it's not only the economical value. So he restarted thinking what to do in the vineyards, and we reintroduced a lot of different trees. They are not all productive. They are not only fruits, like we have several varieties of cherries, apples, apricots, chestnut, persimmons. We often forget persimmons, but they are wonderful, special for the ones you are not able to harvest. They stay during winter for supporting a lot of small animals. We started thinking how to increase the biodiversity, so not only vines, but even bringing different trees, bringing different life into vineyards. We support birds. The humanity cleans so much the environment that it becomes impossible for birds to build their own nest. And if you consider how birds are, if they don't have a place for eggs, they are not able to reproduce. Often people or producers, farmers, are scared about birds because they say they eat fruits. It's not exactly true, or better, most of the birds, they eat fruits when they are thirsty. In our area, we are pretty lucky, or in some vintages we have even too much rain. So for birds and other animals, it's pretty easy to find water. Despite this, in each one of our vineyards, we try to have at least one pond. Often people call them lake because we all consider pond with dirty water, a lot of insects, not a really enjoyable environment. And a live pond, it's a pond which, of course, a lot of insects, but we have a lot of birds eating them. We have a lot of frogs, different kind of frogs. So we bring back what we destroy in the vineyards. Of course, this is not a natural environment. It's deeply influenced by the humans, but we should disappear for the next 500 years to have back a natural environment. What we try to do is to reduce the impact we have to the environment. We always have to remember that when we decided to produce something, we are consuming environment which belongs to everyone. Even people, they would never produce something, but they eat, they drink, they live. So we have to be respectful to, mainly for people, they will never drink our wines, but they deserve their part of environment to be in a good shape, if possible. We are very concentrated about local varieties because we think if they fit to our environment, to our soil, to our terroir, it's the best choice because it's the natural one. So we are very concentrated about Ribolla as white variety and Pignolo as red, which is bottled as Rosso Breg. And in some vintages we are able to have some little reserva, but this is really 100% connected to the different vintage and how the evolution of each one is. Until 2012, we even had a blend which was called the Bianco Breg, which was made with Sauvignon, Pinot Grigio, Chardonnay, and Riesling Italico of Welsh Riesling. The grapes were harvested separately because they are not ripe at the same moment. And then after the end of the fermentation was blended, we decided to stop it, despite it was commercially pretty well working. But these varieties, despite they are good varieties, are not very balanced in our area. We decided that it's not anymore worth the effort, and we often, it's not only about the human effort, it's not that you have to work harder or more or longer. If a variety, if a vine is not balanced, it's easy to get diseases. You could need more water. In our area, it's still not allowed, and we hope it will stay like this to the irrigation. But a not balanced vine give a not balanced grape, and for wine, we believe this is not worth to waste water, which is one of the, probably will be one of the big questions in the next future. I hope to find, beside the terroir, the origin of the wine, what the producer is trying to communicate. Sometimes, and probably this is one of the biggest questions about so-called natural wines, some of them are not always super precise. I prefer having even sometimes a small mistake or some small imperfection, but with a character, with something to tell. I don't support people making always the same mistake just because it's natural. It's like, how to say, when you are sweaty after the gym, you are probably very satisfied about yourself, but not so pleasant for other people. But it's better to have a small imperfection which tells about the effort you made in doing it, what you are trying to learn, and what you are trying to communicate. So sometimes even a small imperfection can tell more about a just technically perfect wine, or think about a dish, how you have to adapt with different ingredients. Sometimes you need more effort to balance a dish with a different ingredient, instead of having them always completely standardized, and it's boring.